Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for you to take your seats. The show is about to begin.
Musical, lyrical lingo. Every episode a new bingo. Laugh and sing, go with the flow. Tune in as the memories grow.
Hello and welcome to Musical Lyrical Lingo. We're your hosts, Tim
And LJ today, and every week we will be discussing musicals, but specifically what they taught us.
Oof, I'm hot and bothered and sweaty all over.
Oh, because it's the summer.
It is so warm.
I know, it's lovely, but the weather's about to change.
Us gingers aren't used to it. Like, we really aren't.
It's been lovely though.
All I
hasn't it?
have to do is look at the sun, and I'm a sweaty mess who's panting and can't cope.
Yeah, no, I'm the same. I don't cope.
Lies, look at the colour of you. It looks like you've been on a holiday in a very, very...
But this is factor 50.
And you're still that colour?
Because I burn. So this is it, just going.
Listen, you don't need to talk to a ginger about burning.
And no, my skin's just like a ginger.
You're
like a ginger.
You're like,
ooh.
You're like really tanned.
I know, I've got a nice wee sun trap.
Yeah, whereas I'm having to moisturise my scalp because it's absolutely
Baseball cap.
burnt to a crisp. Yes, but like, Lauren, you don't want to be walking around with a hat on you all the time. Like, that's
But I
just...
do, because I've got quite thin hair, so I do wear like a baseball cap when I'm sitting out. Just...
I know, but I also, like, I kind of like, I have to get a happy medium in that I do want a bit of colour.
Okay.
You know, because I do look very pale and white most of the time. So I'd like to have a wee bit of sun-kissed about me.
Why don't you go get one of your spray tans again?
We're never doing that ever again. Yeah. But honestly, June is busting out all over, isn't it?
It is, yeah. No, it's been lovely weather. And I do think it is meant to be a nice summer, so roll on.
Is it though? Because this happened last year. We had a lovely end of April into May, and then the summer was atrocious.
Okay, well, I'm going to be hopeful and say that
I love it. Can you name any other musical? I just said June is busting out all over. I can't believe you didn't link the musical link from our previous episode.
No, that was very good.
Can you name any other musical theatre songs that reference the sun or the summer month?
The sun will come out
Very good.
tomorrow.
The sun has got his hat on, hip 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 hooray! The sun has got his hat on and he's coming out to play. It's a fun game, isn't it?
It is a fun wee game. We're all going on a summer holiday.
Brilliant one. Didn't think of that. I hope you're playing at home.
Yeah.
You are sunlight and
good.
I'm moon.
Oh, well, are we just staying some?
Yeah, because we could go.
Yeah.
We'll wait until next week when it's absolutely pouring, and then we'll do the other end of the scale, the thunder and the rain.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we'll leave it there.
Yeah,
I can't think of any more.
No, I can't think of any more. I bet you people are screaming.
Steam heat. I got. I know it's got nothing to do with, but that's how I felt. Darn hot.
Boom.
You're rocking this game.
Woo,
Well
woo.
done, partner. Very good. Shall we do some musical theatre news?
Yes, please. I
Are you
feel
excited?
Like there's been a lot.
Probably has. I probably don't have half of it, so do
I think
chip
I have
in.
some exciting news.
I'm delighted.
Yeah.
I'm glad this is a us now rather
Well,
than
no,
a
it's
me.
not really. It's
No, it
still
is.
you.
No, I like it more. I feel the pressure's off a bit.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah, it's good.
Right, okay.
Well, we have talked about this a couple of times. My first musical theatre news for this week. Finally, we have a date for the production of Frozen that
Yes.
was recorded.
Yes.
So, Frozen starring Samantha Barks was recorded live at the Theatre Royal, Drury Lane, in what seems like 4 years ago. And
was only last year.
I know, but
yes,
like they have waited for a very long time
I know,
before
it has
giving us a
been.
date. So you can see it on Disney Plus from June the 20th.
I know, because there was talks that they weren't going to release it until 2026. And I think there was a wee bit of an uproar. And then they have gone, okay, it'll be June.
Why would you wait that long? That's ridiculous.
I'm sure we still haven't seen Aladdin.
That's true.
Still haven't seen. Well, speaking of pro shots,
Yeah.
next week, Next to Normal will be available in the UK. So remember I
To
said
watch.
to watch.
Oh,
Now, I can't remember which streaming
okay.
service, So it has been on PBS, do you remember I'd said?
Yes.
And then we were kind of a wee bit griped. It was just announced that it will be on Next to Normal. Next Normal will be available for the UK audiences. I'm pretty
And when
sure
was
it's
that?
next week.
When was that released?
It was
that news that it was being
only
released?
this week, only like 2 days ago.
So, because that's really weird, because one of my other musical theatre news for this week is that Next to the Normal, the London West End cast recording starring Cassie Levy, Jamie Parker, Jack Wolf, that's that young fella who
Yeah,
played the
he's
son
fab,
on His Voice is Insane, and Trevor Dion Nicholas will be available from the 30th of May. So, but at the time of me writing my notes, I had UK broadcast to be revealed soon.
Yeah.
So there we go.
There we go. Yeah. So it must be next week. Next week's around the 30th. So they must be releasing them around the same time.
Brilliant. Happy days.
Brilliant.
And my last musical theatre news for this week, we've got a little bit more information on the scheduling for Paddington.
Oh, I didn't
I'm
know
in
this.
rehearsals. Yes, I'm in the rehearsals now.
Wow.
Yeah, so obviously it's going to be in the Savoy. So evening performances are going to start from the 1st of November.
Oh, very good.
With matinee performances starting the 22nd of November. I thought that was interesting. There's such a gap. Maybe they're leaving the days free to like iron out the creases.
Yeah,
and I thought, interestingly, the matinees will be 2 p.m. performances on Thursdays, Saturdays and Sundays.
Brilliant. Do you know what? It's a brilliant time of the year. What a lovely Christmas present that will be for some people too. So
It is very exciting. I don't think I've been as excited for a new musical
because I think
as
there's
I
gonna be
am for this. It has to be brilliant.
magical.
It has to be,
Magical.
doesn't it?
Yeah.
Very exciting indeed.
There was loads of musicals on in the last week on TV because of BBC Radio 2 Showstoppers.
I totally didn't realise until I was on one night and EP, Elaine Page, not our EP, not Aaron, he wasn't doing his one-man concert. However, I paid money to see that. The actual Elaine Page, there was like a lot of programmes, and then I did watch Andrew Lloyd Webber one, because I actually thought, we need to maybe do one of his soon. It's been a wee while. It's been a wee while, you know. What did you watch any?
I've got some recorded.
What have you recorded? When am I coming round?
Anytime. Anytime we've got
Wee
them.
glass
Got
of
them all.
wine.
Like Anything Goes was on, so I have that re-recorded and stuff. And I can't remember, but it's just nice to see musical theatre on TV.
I know, I hear you.
On TV, and I'm loving it the minute as well. See, you're not on very many socials, and you're not on TikTok, but there's loads going on, like little wee performances here and there for the Tonys coming up.
I know.
It's really exciting.
It just still really bothers me that we can't watch the Tonys on TV. It's really annoying.
We definitely used to be able to see a lot on like YouTube.
Yeah, they've cracked down on that copyright-wise, haven't they?
And it's really annoying.
I know. I would have remembered like a Monday morning getting up and getting ready for school and being really late because I was just watching the performances from the Tonys the night before. Anyway, take me back to the old days.
Take me back to the old. It's Calamity Jane, but I don't think it was right, shouldn't it?
That's
Old
Take Me
Hills.
to the Old Hills of Dakota.
Yeah.
Boring. Snore. Hit the snooze button now.
Oh, it's so good.
It's horrific. Have we done Calamity Jane?
Yes,
That's okay. I'm just checking. I'm just checking that's done and ticked off, and I never have to revisit it.
It's done. We're doing a modern musical today.
I know, and one that we have all in the room. So EP Aaron is in the room with us. He has also seen this recently. You two saw it first, didn't you? And then I had to rush down to Dublin to see it a couple of weekends ago now.
Yeah.
It feels like a lifetime ago.
I know, actually.
A lot has happened since. We are talking about
Book of Mormon.
Yeah, and before we started recording, I said we're going to have to be careful with this one.
Yes.
We could be cancelled and this could be the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
And we don't edit our podcasts, but Aaron is on standby, ready to take notes in case there's a big edit required.
And I suppose we're not doing a disclaimer as such, but we're just saying we are very aware that this musical is
controversial.
Very controversial, very controversial. It has been around for a long time. I think a lot of people know what it's about, and we are not necessarily condoning anybody taking the mick out of religions or anything like that. We're just we find this musical entertaining, and we're just looking at it from an entertaining
And we're just going to take the musical as it presents itself to us, to be honest. I don't think anything we will say will be what anybody would see if they went and saw it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, the Book of Mormon.
Yeah, it is a musical comedy.
No, it's a comedy? Are you serious?
It is. Music, lyric, and book by Trey Parker, Robert Lopez, and Matt Stone. So those that may be familiar with those names, we've got Trey Parker and Matt Stone are famous for South Park.
Yes.
Team America. And Robert Lopez is famous for Avenue Q. But more commonly, for those maybe that listen, him and his wife are the singer-songwriters behind Frozen.
That's insane. And I promise you, I didn't have a Frozen musical theatre news for this episode especially. I forgot he was a Frozen jobber.
Really?
Yeah. And it's quite interesting how the three of them all kind of met each other.
I love that story so much.
Parker and Stone, obviously, they created South Park, and then that new film, Team America. I was not a fan of either of those, to be quite honest with you, apart from anything, because they had a character in South Park called Timmy, and it went, Timmy!
Yes.
And that's what I lived with the whole way through school, to be quite honest with you. Like, people coming up into my face going, Timmy! And I'm like,
which is probably
step away.
Unfortunate, because South Park was released in 97, so by the time it kind of got to us was about 98, which was when we started post-primary.
Yeah,
so
not a good time.
Young boys discovering South Park, and that was probably not a great time for you.
Listen, Lauren, I am still getting counselled for the traumas I experienced. But anyway, so Parker and Stone, they went to see a big favourite of the podcast, Avenue Q, which obviously Lopez was writer-composer with Jeff Marks. Lopez then revealed that South Park, Bigger, Longer and Uncut, was highly influential in the creation of Avenue Q.
Yep.
So it was kind of like meant to be, wasn't it, that all of these creatives met each other?
Yeah. 100%, 100%. So, and actually what I find really fascinating too is both parties, because we'll say, you know, the South Park guys and Lopez, they had both had an idea about doing something with Joseph Smith. And so I think it was in, let me just read my notes, in 2003, Trey and Matt had made, had Joseph Smith character, and in 2003 made the South Park episode all about Mormons. And then after that, they were talking to their friend Scott Rudden, who helped on Team America, and he said, go see Avenue Q. And they met up, and they actually just thought that Lopez was a really nice guy. When he mentioned, I want to do something to do with Joseph Smith.
For the listeners, tell them who Joseph Smith is in case they don't know. A bit like me, most of what was in Book of Mormon I hadn't a clue about. So the relevance of that to Mormons is
leader of the Mormon Church.
Okay.
And the South Park boys said, well, if you want to do it, you go ahead. And Lopez said, well, if you want to do it, you go ahead. And they went, well, why don't we just do it together? And then it was made. So
together, wherever we go.
So Lopez explained he was inspired by South Park to make Avenue Q. Soon they discovered they all wanted to do this Joseph Smith musical in particular. In 2006, Parker and Stone flew to London, where they wrote 4 to 5 songs.
Yeah.
And I have a really interesting fact.
No.
Yeah. Really,
hit us with this. That needs to be a feature from now on.
Yeah.
Lauren's really interesting fact.
Okay.
Hit me with it.
My mum and dad used to frequent London a lot.
Yeah.
And we used to go to this restaurant called Joe Allen. It's still there, but back in the day, it used to be like an entrance you went to, and you went like down the steps. It's a little bit more open now. and it was where people went after shows.
Yeah.
So it was always filled with celebrities. And Mum and Dad were there one night, and Trey Parker was there talking to whoever he was with about a new musical. And my dad walked past and heard this, but it was this musical that they were talking about.
That's insane.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes, that is very crazy. Also, what's crazy is I didn't even know that place exists.
Oh my god!
Why have I not been there?
Aaron and I went in August.
Right.
And I was like, oh, it's not, it looks exactly the same, but the entrance is now different. It was attached to our hotel. You would love it.
Hello. Yeah. Did you ever think to maybe drag me along with?
So, yeah. But during that time in 2006, when my dad was listening to that conversation, in 2006, Jeff Marks, who was actually involved in the Avenue Q, there was some sort of falling out, and he was removed from the project.
So actually, it was the four of them, and then he was evicted from the party.
Yeah, and I think Jeff Marks just fell out with Parker.
Yeah.
And then there's not really a huge amount around it. It just says separated from the project. So in 2020, though, I didn't know that Book of Mormon scripts were like revised, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But pretty much went from 2006, and then that was it.
It is a story that follows two missionaries of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as they attempt to preach the faith to the inhabitants of a remote Uganda village. The earnest young men are challenged with the lack of interest from locals who are more distracted by pressing issues such as HIV and AIDS, famine, female genital mutilation, child molestation, and the oppression by a local warlord.
Yes.
Hence, we be very careful when talking about this. Yeah. It premiered in Broadway at the Eugene O'Neill Theatre on March 2011, starring Andrew Rannells and Josh Gad.
Yeah, this is where they made their names.
Holy moly, yeah. And then it garnered critical acclaim and set records in ticket sales for the Eugene O'Neill Theatre at the time. Book of Mormon was awarded 9 Tony Awards.
Yep, in June 2011.
Yeah, including Best Musical, Best Book, Best Score, and a Grammy Award for Best Musical Theatre Album.
Absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
So around the same time of Book of Mormon, so I am actually reading this fact from the Book of Mormon program.
She bought the program, folks. I didn't.
And it's like Trey Parker, South Park guys. They're funny, and like they've kind of compared like their timeline to the Mormon timeline, but when Book of Mormon won its 9 Tony Awards, at the same time, more than 150 million copies of the actual Book of Mormon was fully translated into 82 languages and partially translated into 25 more. So it was big news for Book of Mormon in 2011.
Do you think loads of people went to see the show and actually then got the Book of Mormon to read it?
I mean, it could. What
could happen.
That's what the Mormons did whenever Book of Mormon came out. They took an ad in programs and said, if anything has resonated with you, we would love to see you.
Love that.
I love
Good
that.
Good job. Yeah.
I love that.
Good, great marketing team.
Absolutely.
There. The West End production officially opened March the 21st, 2013 at the Prince of Wales Theatre, and it's there still. It hasn't moved anywhere. Yeah. Oh, Gavin Creel.
Yeah.
Came over from Broadway to open that with Jared Gertner, I think. They were reprising their roles from the North American tour that they had done. It was nominated for 6 Oliviers, winning 4, including Best Musical, and Gavin Creel got one for Best Actor.
Yeah.
Oh, how we miss Gavin.
I know.
He's being honoured, I think.
I think he is, that's right.
At the Tonys this year, as well as Brian Stokes.
Yes,
Mitchell.
yeah.
I didn't know that he had passed.
No, neither did I. Must have missed that.
And we are definitely right. I probably should have Googled that.
Maybe.
But no, I definitely read that the two of them were being honoured, and I was like, why are they honouring Brian Stokes Mitchell? We'll do it after the pod, and if we're wrong, we'll mention it in the next. Yeah.
I meant to tell EP that actually it opened on his birthday, the 24th of March.
Aaron, it opened on your birthday.
Meant to be.
He says.
Meant to be. I can't believe it is the 11th longest running Broadway show.
That's it.
11th.
Yeah.
Like it seems a bit crazy for what it is.
But this is the thing, like I'm not going to lie to you, I am shocked that a show as controversial and as, like, some would describe it as close to the nail as you could get. I would say the nail is well and truly hammered in there. Okay. Like, do you know what I mean? I think it oversteps that mark, I think, of being... Do you know what I mean? Like, it is like, oh my goodness, they have just sung that.
Yeah.
In some parts. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So it amazes me that a show as close to them being on the other side of offensive, maybe. Is the 11th longest running Broadway show with more than 5,000 performances. Yeah,
$800 million. Yes. It is making it one of the most successful musicals of all time. Yeah. Which is crazy. It's crazy.
It is.
Now, I love what you've just said there.
Okay.
Because
have I said something wrong?
No, absolutely nothing wrong. But I think this is a really interesting point, and I'm going to have to pull like EP in to discuss it too, because you obviously have seen the musical. I've seen the musical. We've all seen the musical in this room, and you've said like this is like over the line and like so controversial, blah, blah, blah. And he walked out of that and was not offended because he watches South Park.
Yeah, but I don't watch South Park.
That's what I was going to say. So he was expecting something completely different to what he experienced.
Yeah.
And then, you know, so you two have different reactions to how offensive and controversial it is.
Are you coming in to join us?
Yeah.
Oh, he's getting in front of the screen. This is so exciting. Come in, friend. Oh, I forgot you have been on the screen before when you stole my job.
Just talking to the microphone.
Yeah, talk into here.
Okay,
this is not a natural way.
I'll pick you up.
Yeah, I think whenever we were going to see it, people were saying, oh, you know, you have to have a thick skin here. You know, it's really offensive and all that sort of stuff. And I think I was expecting more. Now, I'd seen the episode all about Mormons, the South Park episode.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, a great episode, by the way. And I was expecting something close to those lines, but obviously a wee bit more refined and that sort of thing. And ultimately I came out and was going, I'm sorry.
It's all right.
I'm sorry, but I certainly wasn't offended because I think it's kind of like...
You've been exposed to that sort of humour.
Exposure therapy, is that what it's called? You know, where you see that sort of humour all the time to the point where it doesn't shock you. It's like the first time you swear in front of your granny. You know?
Yeah.
And your granny's shocked. And then every time you do it, no, me neither, to be fair. But every time you do it after that, you know, it has less of an impact. You know?
Yeah.
So,
but you enjoyed Book of Mormon. Like, you, but it was still very musical for you, wasn't it?
Incredibly musical. And
too musical?
A wee bit, yeah. But I thought the songs were well written. I thought it was well performed. The staging was fantastic. But it was one of those ones where I had to think on it, you know, after. And it was only as I heard, we were actually sitting in a restaurant and we were playing the soundtrack. Like,
random soundtrack to play in a restaurant.
It was the hotel.
It was the hotel. It was about going to Orlando or something, wasn't it, that one? So I was like, but yeah, I wasn't, you know, clutching at pearls or anything.
Yeah, I think what you've just said there about it too musical, I think it as a show, everything is slapped in your face. So the fact that this is a musical, we're going to slap it in your face. This is going to be really musical. You know, we want to shock in a way, so they'll really, for most people who haven't seen South Park.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think everything is like throw it in your 100%. Face, like all out there.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's where we're a fan of Team America, which has some really catchy songs in it.
Yeah.
And you would say it's musical because it's a film with songs in it, and you know, that's technically what a musical is. So you were maybe expecting it to be more of the humorous side rather than the musical side, forgetting that you were going to see a musical. But what did it do that I absolutely loved? It made you say, which is your favourite musical? What did you say?
Back to the Future.
Yeah!
Definitely.
Yeah.
And who encouraged you to go and see Back to the Future?
It was our kind.
Yay!
Also, Matt Stone and Trey Parker they obviously have an appreciation of musicals because they write those great songs in America. And then there's the Mormon episode, but there's also Broadway Brodown as well, which has Andrew Lloyd Webber and stuff like that. And
I should really watch these episodes.
I mean,
we'll watch it one night, but we'll maybe
after 3 bottles of wine.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It isn't. That's definitely not one that somebody with thin skin should watch.
I think I've painted a wrong picture of myself. I wasn't I'm not offended by it, but I'm also not a prudish kind of person. But I can understand why some people would, like, people have walked out at the interval. It was quite interesting. We were looking to see what seats were going to be empty after the interval. Now, to be honest, there weren't any. Do you know what I mean? But I can imagine how it could offend some people.
Oh, 100%.
I'm not one of those people, but I can understand how it could.
Especially in Spooky Mormon Hell Dream, which is a number in the second act where they bring out some very evil men.
Yes, but that's one of my musical lyrical lingo. Okay. So, like, so my brother and I went to see Book of Mormon like years and years and years ago. And he was actually, I think he was quite young to be seeing it when he saw it, but he did. And he loved it. But I think he's got more your humour, do you know what I mean? Whereas I would never watch South Park or, because I just don't find it funny. And obviously, Jeffrey Dahmer is one of those awful, horrible people that is in Spooky Mormon Hell Dream. And when I saw it recently, I went, oh my God, Jeffrey, they're referencing Jeffrey Dahmer. And I'm like, they must have changed that. They must have updated it because obviously since then you've had the big Netflix shows and the documentaries, and I didn't know who Jeffrey Dahmer was until I watched those programs, and I went, that's quite clever. They've updated it with horrible people everyone was going to know. Do you know what I mean? And it was only when I listened to the soundtrack after having watched it again, I went, oh no, he was in the original back then.
It's because we're not American, so he wasn't.
Not American, didn't know who he was. And I'm going, that reference completely would have gone over my head it did go over my head the first time. Yeah. So I learned, Jeffrey Dahmer was in Book of Mormon the first time as well as the second time seeing it.
I also, what I think helped Aaron is listening to the soundtrack after you've seen it, because we had great seats in the board. Gosh, great seats. Some of the performances I was a little bit like, your diction isn't great.
I hear you.
So there was a lot of stuff I think that Dad and Aaron missed, but I know that soundtrack inside out. Yeah. So there was a lot of the words which I found really, really funny and was surprised that they weren't laughing at. And then when we were listening to the sound, he goes, oh, that makes sense. Oh, I get that now. So you appreciated listening to a soundtrack after you'd seen a musical, which you wouldn't have done before.
Yeah, I don't think the mix was right whenever we went to see it.
Okay.
The backing tracks seemed to be louder, or the band seemed to be louder.
They don't use backing tracks, do you? The live musicians.
My amateur backing. But
the music, what are those unions of the in a minute? Just calm down.
The band seemed to be much louder than the vocals. So I really struggled to pick out what they were saying. As you said, there was some issues with diction. Just thinking back there were certainly some moments where I went, I could see where it was going. And it was like, I actually recall going, for the love of God. I was like, no. I'm saying, no. I didn't see where it was going. And then I did laugh, so.
Oh, no, you weren't stone-faced. No, you didn't walk out of it going I didn't enjoy that. I think you were expecting so much. And I think that is interesting whenever you have come from that world and you enjoy that world, you were expecting them to really push it more. But if they were just more musical than you expected it to be as well.
And do you think audiences now go to the Book of Mormon knowing kind of what to expect because it's been around for a while?
I would like to think so.
That's what I'm wondering.
I overheard a conversation with the people sitting behind us, and somebody bought them the tickets, didn't have a clue what they expected, knew nothing about the Mormon religion, knew nothing about this, and I wonder what this is going to be about. And no, they were into it.
Yes,
they were laughing. Yeah. They were having a great time, which is good.
Yeah,
I mean, they want them to be shocked.
Yeah. Well, because I often wonder, like, what were the first audiences like?
I have visions in my head. Was it a bit like, in the producers, where they're obviously just before the guy playing Hitler breaks his leg and then the other guy has to come in. So where people are getting up and leaving and the producers are going, no, yes, this is what we want. The real shock factor. Yeah. I have visions of that. So it's like, but I don't think it was.
But you think on a hardcore level, like, the producers is a one in comparison to the Book of Mormon, isn't it? Yeah. For offence, if you were to be offended. Yeah.
True.
Interesting.
True.
Thanks, CPR.
Thank you.
Get out. No, you can't have a job.
I also love Casey Nicola.
Yeah.
So he's done so many things, but he Drowsy Chaperone, Aladdin, Something Rotten, Mean Girls, Some Like It Hot, Spamalot. Isn't he the choreographer?
Yep, director. Did he direct and He often directs and choreographs.
Co-director and choreographer. So I think that's where it has a really great mix of musical style to it.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, personally, I love the fact that you're slapped in the face with the fact it's a musical.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. I love this. As I have said on the pod before, I listen to this soundtrack monthly. I just love it. I love the music.
Okay.
I love the music.
And do you listen to all the songs? Do you skip You don't skip any songs.
No, there's no songs.
There would be one or two I would skip. Maybe I'm a prude. There's one that I skip.
Okay.
The first song
that they sing in Africa?
Yes.
Okay.
I do skip that one because I'm just like, okay, I get it. I don't need
Yeah, and I can understand. And I don't think I would sing that one aloud because that wouldn't sit well.
I'm so glad.
Yeah, but it wouldn't sit well with me. But I also appreciate the song, like I do, as in the songwriting of that. I think it is very catchy and whatever. But yeah, we talked a little bit about musical earlier. So are you ready to go straight into our musical goes? My tongue is all in my mouth there. I'm trying to not. I don't know.
Your tongue is all in your mouth?
Do you know how
I'm glad it is.
You trip over your words?
Because if it fell out and it was on the floor, we'd be in trouble. We'd be bringing Aaron back in.
I know.
You and me.
Do you know what the very first thing I actually learned was? I researched why they're called elders.
I never even thought to do that. Why are they called elders?
So, obviously the very first song is, Hello.
Hello. My name is Elder.
So, elders... Elders hold the office of elder in the Melchizedek priesthood. It is the lowest office. Okay? This gives them authority to perform acts such as administering the sacraments and giving blessings. So this is why whenever they go out to Africa, they can do the baptisms and stuff. Because I always thought that was them overstepping their mark.
Oh no,
but
that's
it's
the
not.
Point. Yeah.
They're allowed to do that.
Yeah. Because
I think in the church that I grew up in, it's the minister that does that. It's not the elder. So, there we go. They're given that name whenever they all go to their training camp. Once they complete their training camp, then they get the title elder.
Yeah. My biggest musical lyrical lingo is I learnt about the Mormons and the Mormon religion, and I'll be honest with you, it's still a wee bit confusing to me, because there's so much to it.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
I appreciate that I've now seen it twice, and I would need, I think if I went back a third time, I'd be all over actually how the church set up.
Well, I'm not even going to be funny. I encourage you to watch the episode from South Park. It explains it really well.
Does it?
Because it explains it in a way. It's explaining it in a way to be like, this is ridiculous, okay? But it's explaining it so plainly that you get it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's definitely an episode that you should watch.
You've mentioned this is ridiculous, and they very much play on, like one of the central themes to the Book of Mormon is that many religious stories are rigid and out of touch and silly. It comes to the conclusion that essentially religion itself can do enormous good, though, as long as taken sometimes metaphorically and not literally.
Yes.
And Matt Stone, I think he was a reporter, maybe. No, one of the show's creators. What am I talking about? He once was quoted saying that Book of Mormon is like an atheist's love letter to religion. And I thought, that's a really cool and interesting way of putting it.
Yeah. Yes, because especially at the very end, or towards the end, where I don't want to give too much away for people that have seen it, but at one point, one of the ladies in Africa does turn around and say, "You didn't really believe that, did you? It's a metaphor," and it's like. People do go through the Bible or go through whatever, comfort they have and find something that really, it's like that Peter Kay joke where, you're attending somebody's funeral and you see a packet of cheese and onion float and you go, oh, that's our Jim. He loved cheese and onion. Oh, it is. That's him. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're just clinging to, like, a little bit. And if that's what gets you going and gets you through something, then that's okay.
I think in life, especially now when life's so tough, whatever makes you tick and whatever helps you get through the day, go for it, knock yourself out. I am
fascinated by other religions, though.
Yeah,
so I wouldn't say know a lot about the Mormon religion, but I watch an awful lot. So for years, 10 plus years, I've been watching a show called My Four Wives. Or Sister Wives, which is about a man who I've forgot the name of the show.
I can't wait to hear where this is going.
It's called Sister Wives. A man he did have 4 wives. He's down to 1 wife now. And I've got Aaron on to Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It's just drama. It's not really about the good Mormons. It's filth. It is filth. So I do love learning, and I love that actually this musical has made me want to learn more. I do love learning. I do, but what I also
through all your trashy TV shows, love it.
What I did.
What a great source of learning. Sorry.
What I did learn from this musical,
good girl,
is that lots of the songs were inspired by other musicals.
Okay.
So Hello is similar to Fiddler's Tradition.
Is this your opinion or is this fact?
This is the internet's opinion.
Okay.
So Hello is similar to Fiddler's Tradition, and it's also similar to Belle in Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, these are
And it's also
wild.
similar to Springtime for Hitler, except Springtime for Hitler is a political satire. Belle is introducing the character and all her different ways and how she's a bit strange.
Yeah.
So set up. And obviously, Tradition in Fiddler is letting you know about the Jewish traditions.
Okay.
So already in Hello, you know that they are Mormons. And that they are going, God, Lord, I'm telling you.
That's very wide.
They're interacting to tell the audience their world.
I adore you. But I think that's how most musicals start, with a number that introduces the setting or the characters.
It's not.
On that,
I'm finished.
But we need to pause for a wee minute. Listen to Benjamin Button's cast recording. It dropped this week.
Oh.
And you're talking about numbers like that that's introduced and you know exactly where you stand and what's going on and who's who. That one of the opening, I've only literally listened to it today on the way here.
Okay.
One of the first numbers that does that is just it's going to be brilliant. I've only listened to the first 3 or 4 tracks. Amazing.
Okay.
Carry on. What else?
There are references to other musicals.
Yes.
Lion King.
Okay, get that.
Oh, because
it's in Africa.
But also she sings, like the teacher comes out, which is really inappropriate, and sings Circle of Life.
Like Rafiki?
Yeah. And she's like, I've never been. Anyway.
Be careful.
And in the song that you were talking about, where he says, oh, does it mean like, means no worries for the rest of your days?
Yeah.
Kind of, but definitely doesn't mean that.
There's a few direct Lion King references.
Yeah. Wicked, You and Me is Defying Gravity. And it's, no, this is true. And especially when he says, but mostly me. And he goes, I don't understand music, but it says they both end in DB major. But mostly me. It's me. There you go.
Fair, I'll take that one. That's a good one. Okay, never thought of that. Were you not impressed? Pitch perfect there.
I know, very good. And the dance, obviously, in Spooky Mormon Hell Dream is chorus line.
Lies. It is. That's right. They put their top hats on and stuff. Fair enough.
And
very good.
My last. No, I'm not. Sorry, I've got two more. Tomorrow is a latter day. The last song is You Get Stuck. It is.
You Can't Stop the Beat from Hairspray.
From Hairspray. And
Lies.
I believe.
I don't take that one at all.
This one I was actually really impressed with.
I can't wait.
Sound of Music, I Have Confidence, is the same as I Believe because they are both based on religious beliefs. Both have a What's the Matter with Me? And they both sound the same where it says, a warlord who shoots people in the face. What's so scary about that? And hers is a captain with 7 children. What's so fearsome about that?
That's fair.
So they're all fair, Mr. Bell.
That wee lyrical line from both, yes. Because it even follows the same rhythmic pattern as well.
So there you go.
Clever.
So they did pull a lot from musicals to inspire their musical.
Yeah.
And I was like, I learned a lot about actual Mormon and the angel Moroni.
Another thing I learned about Mormons, the opening scenes of Act 1 and Act 2 are a parody of Hill Cumorah pageant, which is an annual production of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, staged at the foot of Hill Cumorah. I hope I've said that right, in Palmyra. In New York. It premiered in 1937 and it was considered to be the flagship pageant of Latter-day Saints Church. It featured more than 700 cast members, 1,300 costumes, and a 10-level stage. Tell you what, these Mormons know what they're doing. They know how to put on a production or a pageant. It ran for 7 nights in late July and attracted 35,000 viewers annually. This was an annual event.
Oh my goodness, that's mental.
And it's like showcased the story of, you know, the Mormon religion and how it came about. And the pageant was last performed, so it was performed the whole way through until 2019. And I think as a church, they went, let's maybe spend the money that we're using on these pageants elsewhere. And that's the only reason it stopped.
Fair.
But that's, I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, I'm sure there must be a recording of it.
10-level stage?
Yeah, there must be a recording of it somewhere.
Unbelievable.
Mormons are always portrayed to be really nice people.
Yeah.
And I like that that's what the musical has done as well.
In my opinion, like anybody, regardless of religion, if they themselves see themselves as a religious person and they follow whatever religion they choose, you would hope they are, because that's actually the basis of any religion. If you're a religious person, you're supposed to be leading by example. So, But yes, anytime you see them walking around, they seem very smiley and happy to have a wee hello.
Yeah.
My name is Elder. they sing about in that number, they sing about leaving this book for you to just peruse. And peruse has this, and I'm guilty of it, has this common idea of to like glance through it. Quickly, just to look through it. However, do you know what peruse actually means?
No.
Like the actual definition of peruse is to read typically in a thorough and careful way.
No way. The complete opposite of what we have.
So I want to know, where did that common like opinion of what peruse, just peruse that. But actually to peruse it is to read it in a thorough, careful way.
I wonder, was it because maybe somebody didn't, or somebody was like, oh yeah, I perused that. And then somebody else knew, if I remember, that they didn't read it in detail. So it was like, yeah, he perused it.
Perhaps.
I love how you just giggle in the background because I've come up with something ridiculous.
It's not ridiculous. You put it in the background.
I liked it too. And it made sense. It made sense, unlike some of those links to other musicals.
I'm telling you, there are
Dead on.
links.
I'll give you 2 out of 5.
Right, whatever.
How many did you give me?
73.
Yeah. 2 by 2.
Love it.
We're marching door to door.
And obviously a direct little link to Noah's Ark.
A direct link to Noah's Ark, absolutely. It's the song where they are, I love also Mission Control. Like, all the Mormons stand in front of Mission Control and they're told where in the world they're going to go on their mission. And the 2 Mormons who are being sent to Japan, they sing about it being land of soy sauce and Mothra. Had no idea what Mothra was. No. Were you the same? Mm-hmm. What's Mothra?
I don't know.
He's looking at us like we're thick.
I know.
No, is it a giant moth from the Godzilla movies?
Yes.
I was so disappointed there.
It is the giant moth from the Godzilla movies. Yes, a fictional monster first appearing in the 1961 film. Yeah, you smoke your fake cigarette over there looking happy with yourself. I didn't know that the Mothra was a giant moth. In the gods, I don't watch Godzilla. Too scary.
Yeah, no, why would you be doing that?
Move on quickly.
Yeah,
his smugness is rubbing me up the wrong way.
Yes, I learned, I think actually from Book of Mormon, where it talks about the planets.
Yeah.
I then didn't realise that was a huge part of their religion, was the planets.
Mm-hmm.
And Jackson was in Missouri.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not going to lie to you. It almost took me to see the show the second time round for the song Salt Lake City to be a play on Salt Lake City, which is the holy city of Mormonism. But literally, the way she said, obviously it's a play on how Ugandans maybe would pronounce Salt Lake City, but that I didn't get that necessarily the first time until maybe the end of the song.
Okay.
And then the second time when I saw it, I went, oh yeah, this is really clever what they're doing here. Salt Lake City.
Love it.
Also, can I just say, I'm glad you have the program, but whoever the girl was who
she
sang that, to be fair, I think anybody who I've ever sing it, or even on videos, they always have a rocking voice, but this girl her voice was insane.
So this is what I'm going to show you, because I was blown away by this. I'm showing it to
What's she showing
right
me? She's showing me it's her first job.
Yeah.
Naya Nish. I hope I've said that right, but you were absolutely insane. Trained in Mount View Academy Arts, and her theatre credits include Book of Mormon, Prince of Wales, full stop.
Yeah. So
she was insane.
Absolutely.
Do you agree?
Insane.
The voice was her voice was crystal clear.
She was
and
amazing.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. Stunning.
Amazing. So.
Have you any others?
No, that's me. I know.
I thought you would have had like hundreds more than me, and I was going to be like bowing my head in shame. All American Prophet. I love they sing. There's a fresh third part out there, which was found by a hip new prophet who had a little Donny Osmond flair. Didn't know Donny Osmond
was a Mormon.
Was a Mormon.
Oh, Timothy.
Because Donny Osmond and Joseph Smith bear no resemblance to each other, but they're both Mormons.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Did you know?
Didn't know Donny Osmond were all of the Osmonds are Mormons.
They're Mormons.
There you go.
No, I knew that.
Can we talk warlords for a minute? This is where we might get in trouble.
Yeah.
So the warlord that all of the folk in the Ugandan village that they go, or town that they go to, are under control and very much scared of their warlord called General, but I'm not saying the effing word, Naked, but that's what he's called, General Butt Effing Naked.
Yeah.
Do you know that that's loosely based on an actual warlord?
Yes.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
Whose name was General Butt Naked?
Yes.
Because he was known for going into combat wearing no clothing.
As a sign of, I'm like really important. So he just didn't wear anything. Yeah, I read that.
And he called his fighters, although they were mostly child fighters, which just makes me sad. The fighters were known as naked base commandos. Stop laughing.
Oh dear. Yeah.
But I didn't
I know.
Very closely linked to you.
Yeah.
They're not going to come from me, are they?
No, they're not. But you know, like you have to remember that the South Park guys are very clever.
Yeah.
And they're very up to date as well. And they're only going to make entertainment on something that is real.
Yeah.
Or something that people know about. So, yeah.
However, it is what is in your head as you're walking out of that the name of that character.
I know.
Like, we giggled for about 2 hours after that show just over the name of him.
I know. Yeah. And I think originally they were going to put more of the lines in the song, but then they replaced the line with "I have maggots in my..."
Don't.
That bit.
Yeah.
So they did. Yeah, I think they were going to give him a real song.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
About that? I'm kind of glad they left that one out, to be honest.
So,
I think there was enough in there for all.
And I actually love in I Believe.
I believe.
Right, where he, like, you know, he's got all this courage and he goes right into the generals and he's like, what is this? It's like, when he's in his way, like, it's okay, I'm singing and everything's okay and blah, blah. And the guy's like, what is going on?
Yeah.
Like, what?
I love when he grabs the warlord's hand and then starts like doing like sways in the air. Like, it is very funny.
Yeah.
And then obviously what happens to
the book
and that poor Mormon after is very funny. Very, very funny. Yeah. You know what? Listen, the boys know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But they also round it off in such a beautiful way. Like the end of the you go out like uplifted, which is a really clever, like very cleverly done.
And I didn't walk out being like, oh my goodness, they were really slating, like the Mormon, as in like, or I don't know. It's strange because you know that they are highlighting maybe problems.
Listen, they make fun of them the whole way through, but at the end
there's a lovely core message, isn't there?
Yes.
Of community and love and support, being there for one another in hard times, and you know, like the little comments of we've seen all these missionaries before, and he goes, but that was a Christian Bible, and like this, you know, like actually there's loads of people coming out, but they're just not doing the right work and the right support. Well, actually these guys, whether it was, you know, Professor Elder Cunningham making stuff up.
Yeah. You're making things up again, Arnold.
Love it. I sing that to him all the time. He doesn't make anything up.
No.
I sing that to him all the time.
No. That's not how we do it.
It's because I don't understand how somebody knows a fact about everything. So I'm like, you're making this up again, aren't you?
I think one of my favourite lines is about him subscribing to the book, and you get a free set of steak knives.
Yeah,
very funny.
Yeah, very funny. Okay, I just think it is hilarious.
Yeah.
Elder Green is one of my faves.
Yeah. The next time I go to London on a trip, we're going to go and see it.
Oh, fab.
Yeah.
Fab. Yeah.
It's great. I also love the way he can't get her name right.
Oh, so funny.
Those were the biggest laughs that they got out of me.
Yes.
Like,
so funny.
Absolutely, and it totally took me off guard every single time they did it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes, honestly, I almost like I forgot that it was a running gag.
Yes.
And it caught me again. And every single time it was something funnier than the last time. And I was like, how is he flipping doing this?
But I also love that because we've seen a tour and we've seen it, they obviously changed depending on where they are. So I love that it was very culturally funny because then we were like Nadine Coyle and Bono and all of that stuff, and it was just it was funny.
You had mentioned that was it 2020 they had made some revisions to the script
to the Uganda villagers. So scripts were revised to give the African characters more to do and more lines, and that all came from everything that happened in 2020. And I didn't see a production. I've sort of only seen a production there, and I know a lot of people who have seen it after have said actually what the changes they've made in the script has been great. It was not, and actually I don't think it enhanced or changed, I don't think it changed any meaning or anything like that. It actually just
made it even funnier. Like some of those one-liners towards the Mormons are hilarious. There's one woman in particular, I think she did the Rafiki bit that you're talking about. Hilarious. I
just really love mud hut that you've got, and it wasn't even things that they said, it was also how they looked at people and how they I don't know, it was just, I really loved that little community in Uganda. I thought it was great.
They also had an iPad. Her and her iPad, I think it was a typewriter. The first time I saw it, so they've updated the technology in it as well. Right. Because we were like, I'm almost sure she didn't have an iPad the last time.
Okay, that could make sense. There was something else where I was like, I felt like there's maybe been a few wee tweaks, but I can't think. Yeah, maybe it was the iPad thing. But
no, very funny.
Yeah, very, very, very funny.
Your stand ovations then? What are you left with? I Believe yours, is it?
I love I Believe. It's one that definitely gets stuck in my head.
Yeah.
And I think it's a real power song.
Yeah, I have two.
Mm-hmm.
One that I've always loved, and that's Turn It Off. It makes me roar. Roar.
Yeah.
And one that stood out this time round, and almost I kind of forgotten completely about it, is the end of Act 1, Man Up. Man up.
Yes.
Man up. To the point now when I didn't remember this ending the first half, but oh my goodness, yes. It was it was amazing.
Yeah. I thought he was very good.
He was brilliant.
I thought that everybody on tour was brilliant, but my one downfall was diction wasn't great, and the guy playing.
Don't sing. No, don't do that.
No, I'm not doing that. I was very aware that he was maybe inspired by the original.
Yeah,
that's
there's
what
a
I'm
real
saying.
American twang sound.
Yes,
and I think sometimes if that's overdone, then you lose diction.
Yes, yeah.
And I think that's fair to say.
But I also think it's very hard.
Because there was a lot of them had that American nasally, twangy kind of type singing.
Yeah.
I thought.
I think because even Josh Gad and Andrew Randalls, they made those characters that it is very hard for you to come in and... Because people are sometimes expecting that. It's a bit like going to see Back to the Future and George McFly not having that voice.
Yeah.
It is a bit difficult, but sound wasn't great on a lot of songs.
Well.
But I really enjoyed it. I would definitely go back and see it again, and I have still continued to listen to the soundtrack.
Yeah, no, I listened to it after I saw it as well, and then made the decision, right, we'll go and see it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it.
When we're in London next. Okay, what would Paddy do to finish us off for the day? Would you like to sing proudly with This Is Me from The Greatest Showman, or reflect on legacy with Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story from Hamilton?
Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story.
You're a big Ham fan.
Yeah.
We are approaching
the
summer months. Oh, gee whiz. I may start doing my research for that now, because there'll be a musical lyrical per line.
I know. It's going to be big.
You're all over it. You know all that stuff.
I don't know all of it.
I don't know any of that stuff. I may take a fortnight per song.
Okay.
May start now.
You better start now.
It won't be next week, that's for sure, folks.
It's
but
not next
tune
week.
in next week for one of my favourites.
Tip, 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 tap, 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 tip, tip, tip.
Yeah, we're going to... You're going back to these blooming...
I'm not. I'm just...
clues again.
I'm not. I'm just doing... A tap, tip, 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 tip.
People think you've lost your marbles. Oh, no, hold on. They thought you'd lost your marbles about 30 minutes ago with your musical references.
Shut up.
Do you hear, Aaron, you free next week? Because I am not being spoken to in this way.
I can't be.
Until next week. Bye.
Tune in as the memories grow.